What if I told you that one conversation could change your entire career? That mastering a single principle could transform every relationship in your life? That's exactly what happened to a young man named Dale Carnegie in 1936, and what he discovered has influenced over 30 million people worldwide. But here's the shocking part. Most people are doing the exact opposite of what actually works. I'm talking about the difference between getting what you want through manipulation versus inspiring people to want to help you, between being liked and being genuinely influential. In the next few minutes, I'm going to break down Dale Carnegie's timeless masterpiece, How to Win Friends and Influence People, the book that billionaires like Warren Buffett credit for their success. I'll give you the exact principles, real stories from the book, and practical examples you can use today to transform your relationships, your career, and your life. Whether you're struggling to get people to listen to you at work, want to build stronger friendships, or simply want to become more likable and influential, this video will change everything. So stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll have a complete blueprint for winning people over, not through tricks, but through genuine connection. Let's dive in. Before we jump into the principles, let me tell you why this book is different. Dale Carnegie wrote this book in 1936 during the Great Depression. People were desperate, broke, and struggling. Yet Carnegie's course on human relations was packed with students paying their last dollars to learn how to connect with others. Why? Because Carnegie discovered something revolutionary. Your success in life, whether in business, relationships, or happiness, depends 15% on your professional knowledge and 85% on your ability to connect with people. Think about that. 85%. Warren Buffett has a Dale Carnegie certificate framed in his office, not his Columbia degree, because he says it changed his life more than anything else. This isn't just theory. Carnegie spent years researching how the most successful people in history, from Abraham Lincoln to Theodore Roosevelt to industrial titans, built their influence. He interviewed thousands of people and distilled it all into principles that still work today, almost 90 years later. Now, the book has 30 principles organized into 4 parts. I'm going to give you the most powerful ones with real stories and modern examples so you can apply them immediately. Ready? Let's start with Part 1. Part 1. Fundamental Techniques in Handling People. Principle 1. Don't criticize, condemn, or complain. Carnegie starts with a bold claim. Criticism is futile. It puts people on the defensive and usually makes them strive to justify themselves. Here's a story from the book that proves it. Carnegie tells us about Two Gun Crowley, one of the most dangerous criminals in New York. When police finally cornered him in his girlfriend's apartment, Crowley wrote a note that said, "Under my coat is a weary heart, but a kind one that would do nobody any harm." This is a man who had just murdered a police officer, yet even he didn't see himself as bad. Carnegie's point? If even cold-blooded killers don't blame themselves, why do we expect our criticism to change normal people? Think about the last time someone criticized you harshly. Did you think, "Wow, they're so right, I should change immediately"? Or did you defend yourself and resent them? Modern example? Imagine your colleague misses a deadline. You could say, "You're so unreliable, this is the 3rd time." Or you could say, "Hey, I noticed the deadline passed. Is everything okay? How can we make sure this doesn't happen again?" The first creates an enemy. The second creates an ally. Abraham Lincoln learned this the hard way. Early in his career, he wrote harsh letters attacking his political opponents. One challenged him to a duel. After that, Lincoln adopted a simple rule: never write a critical letter if you're angry. Write it, then throw it away. Your action step? For the next week, catch yourself before criticizing. Ask yourself, will this criticism actually help, or am I just venting? Principle 2. Give honest and sincere appreciation. Here's where most people get it wrong. They think flattery works. It doesn't. Flattery is cheap and selfish. Appreciation is genuine and other-focused. Carnegie shares this brilliant story. A woman came to him desperate. Her husband had stopped being romantic, barely talked to her, and she was considering divorce. Carnegie asked, "What did you do when he first courted you that you don't do now?" She thought and said, "Well, I used to appreciate everything he did. I'd thank him, compliment him. And now? I just nag him about what he doesn't do." Carnegie told her to try appreciation for 2 months. She started genuinely noticing things. "Thank you for working so hard for our family. I appreciate that you still open doors for me." 2 months later, her husband told her he was falling in love with her all over again. Why does this work? Because the deepest principle in human nature is the craving to be appreciated. The difference between flattery and appreciation. Flattery is, "You're the best boss ever," generic, insincere. Appreciation is, "I really appreciated how you defended my idea in that meeting. It made me feel valued." See the difference? One is empty. The other is specific and genuine. Modern example? Instead of just saying, "Great job" to your team member, try, "The way you handled that difficult client showed real patience and creativity. You turned a complaint into a loyal customer." That's exactly the kind of thinking we need. Your action step? Every day this week, give one person genuine, specific appreciation. Watch what happens. Principle 3. Arouse in the other person an eager want. This is the secret of influence. Carnegie puts it bluntly. The only way to influence people is to talk about what they want and show them how to get it. Here's my favorite story from the book. A father couldn't get his son to stop smoking. Lectures didn't work, punishment didn't work. Then he tried Carnegie's method. The son wanted to join the track team, so the father said, "You know, the coach told me he's looking for kids with real potential. He specifically mentioned you. But he said smoking cuts your lung capacity by 20%. What do you think you should do?" The kid quit smoking that day. Why? Because the father shifted from what he wanted, son to be healthy, to what the son wanted.
Part 2. 6 Ways to Make People Like You. Principle 4. Become genuinely interested in other people. Carnegie opens this section with a shocking fact. You can make more friends in 2 months by becoming interested in other people than you can in 2 years by trying to get people interested in you. Think about your dog. Why do you love your dog? Because your dog is genuinely thrilled to see you. Your dog is interested in you. Here's a powerful story from the book. A department store was losing customers to competitors. The owner hired a consultant who spent a week just observing. His recommendation? Train employees to remember customers' names and details about their lives. The store implemented a simple system. After each sale, write down the customer's name and one personal detail. Next time they came in, "Mrs. Johnson, how did your daughter's recital go?" Sales increased 40% in 6 months. Modern example. Instead of networking by talking about yourself, bad, "Hi, I'm John. I work in marketing. Here's my card." Good, "Hi, I'm John. What brings you to this event?" Listen, "That's fascinating. Tell me more about that project." Carnegie tells us about Theodore Roosevelt. Servants loved him because before they arrived, Roosevelt would stay up late learning about their interests. When the new chambermaid arrived, Roosevelt asked her about growing roses, her passion, because he'd researched it the night before. Your action step? In every conversation this week, ask 3 questions about the other person before talking about yourself. Principle 5. Smile. This seems so simple, but Carnegie dedicates an entire chapter to it.
He tells the story of William B. Steinhardt, a stockbroker who was miserable. His marriage was failing, his business was struggling, and he was perpetually grumpy. Carnegie challenged him. For 1 week, smile at everyone you meet. Not a fake smile. Genuinely think about something you appreciate about them and smile. Steinhardt thought it was ridiculous, but tried it. He smiled at his wife at breakfast. He smiled at the doorman. He smiled at clients. Within a week, people started treating him differently. Clients who'd been cold warmed up. His wife started smiling back. His income increased because people wanted to work with him. 2 months later, Steinhardt told Carnegie, "I've earned more money, more genuine respect, and more happiness in these 2 months than in the previous year." The science backs this up. Smiling releases endorphins in both you and the person you smile at. It's contagious. But here's the key: it must be genuine. People can spot a fake smile instantly. Modern example: before you pick up the phone, smile. People can literally hear it in your voice. Try it. Call someone while frowning, then call while smiling. The difference is dramatic. Your action step? Set a reminder on your phone 3 times a day. Smile. When it goes off, genuinely smile at the next person you see. Principle 6. Remember that a person's name is the sweetest and most important sound in any language. Carnegie says that a person's name is, to that person, the sweetest and most important sound in any language. Jim Farley became Postmaster General and Chairman of the Democratic National Committee largely because of this principle. He could remember 50,000 people's names. How? Whenever he met someone, he'd get their full name, ask about their family, business, and political opinions, and file it in his mind. When he saw them again, even years later, "Hello, Mr. Henderson. How's the lumber business in Indiana? Did your daughter ever go to that college she was considering?" People were amazed. They became loyal supporters because he made them feel important. Modern example, in the digital age? After meeting someone at a conference, send them a note. "Hi Sarah, great meeting you at the Marketing Summit. I loved your insights on email segmentation. Let's stay in touch." Using their name twice creates. Principle 7. Be a good listener. Encourage others to talk about themselves. Carnegie shares a brilliant story about this. He attended a dinner party and spent the entire evening next to a famous botanist. Carnegie knew nothing about botany, so he just asked questions and listened. "That's fascinating. How does that work? What happened next?" The botanist talked for hours. At the end of the night, he told the host, "Carnegie is a most interesting man." Carnegie had barely said anything, but by being genuinely interested and listening, he made the botanist feel valued. Compare this to most conversations. Someone starts talking and you're not really listening, you're just waiting for your turn to speak. Here's a Harvard Business Review study. Executives rated as the best conversationalists asked an average of 21.5 questions per conversation. The worst? Just 3.7. Bad listener. Them. "I just got back from Japan." You. "Oh, cool. I went to Thailand once. Let me tell you about." Good listener. Them. "I just got back from Japan." Japan. What was the highlight? What surprised you most? Carnegie quotes Sigmund Freud. People aren't interested in you. They're interested in themselves, morning, noon, and after dinner. Your action step. In your next conversation, try to ask twice as many questions as you normally would. See how the person lights up. Principle 8. Talk in terms of the other person's interests. Theodore Roosevelt again provides the perfect example. Whenever Roosevelt expected a visitor, he'd stay up late reading about their field of interest. If a cowboy was visiting, he'd read about cattle ranching. If a politician, he'd study their state's issues. Why?
because Roosevelt understood that the royal road to a person's heart is to talk about the things they treasure most. Before a meeting with a potential client, check their LinkedIn. Do they volunteer for animal rescue? Mention you saw that and admire it. Do they love golf? Ask about their handicap. But, and this is crucial, it must be genuine. If you fake it, they'll know. Carnegie tells us about Edward Chalif, who needed to rent a ballroom for a large event. The manager quoted a price too high. Instead of negotiating on price, Chalif said, "I understand you're in a tough position. What challenges are you facing with the space right now?" The manager opened up about struggling to fill weekday slots. Chalif said, "What if we took a weekday? That would help you, and we could work out better pricing." Deal done, because Chalif talked about the manager's interests, not his own. Your action step. Before your next important conversation, research one thing the person cares about. Bring it up, genuinely. Principle 9. Make the other person feel important and do it sincerely. Carnegie calls this the most important principle in the book. Make others feel important. Jesus said it, "Do unto others as you would have them do unto you." Everyone you meet, from the CEO to the janitor, wants to feel important. The question is, will you make them feel that way? Here's a story that demonstrates the power. A woman was in the hospital, terrified before surgery. A young nurse came in, held her hand and said, "I know this is scary, but Dr. Wilson is the best. He's done this surgery hundreds of times. You're going to be fine, and I'll be right here when you wake up." 20 years later, that woman still remembered that nurse's name and wrote her a letter of gratitude. The nurse had made her feel important and cared for in a moment of vulnerability. The server brings your food. You could ignore them, or you could make eye contact, smile, and say, "Thank you so much, this looks wonderful." 3 extra seconds that make someone's day. Carnegie worked with a toll collector who was miserable. Carnegie suggested he try making every driver feel important for 1 week. "Good morning. Beautiful day, isn't it? Drive safely." The toll collector reported back, "I've never been happier at work. People smile back, some thank me, and I feel like I'm making a difference instead of just collecting coins." Your action step. Once a day, make someone feel genuinely important. Part 3. How to win people to your way of thinking. Principle 10. The only way to win an argument is to avoid it. Carnegie starts with a bold statement. You can't win an argument. If you lose, you lose. If you win, you lose. Why? Because even if you prove someone wrong, you've made them feel inferior, hurt their pride, and created resentment. Carnegie was at a dinner party when a man quoted a passage and said it was from the Bible. Carnegie knew it was actually Shakespeare and started to correct him. Under the table, his friend kicked him hard. Later, the friend said, "Why prove him wrong? You embarrassed him in front of everyone. What did you gain?" Carnegie learned his lesson. As Benjamin Franklin said, "If you argue and contradict, you may achieve a victory sometimes, but it will be an empty victory because you will never get your opponent's goodwill." Example: your colleague insists the meeting is Tuesday. You know it's Wednesday. Bad approach: "No, you're wrong. It's Wednesday. Check your calendar." Carnegie's approach: "I might be mistaken, but I had Wednesday in my notes. Should we both double-check to be sure?" See the difference? You're still correcting them, but you've saved their pride. Your action step. This week, when you feel the urge to argue, pause and ask, is being right worth losing this person's goodwill? Principle 11. Show respect for the other person's opinions. Never say, "You're wrong." Carnegie tells us that when Theodore Roosevelt was about to make an important statement, he'd say, "I may be wrong, I frequently am, but here's my current thinking." This approach disarms opposition. How can someone argue with you when you've already admitted you might be wrong? Here's a powerful story from the book. A furniture salesman was losing deals to competitors. Then he learned this principle. When a customer said, "Your competitor is cheaper," instead of saying, "You're wrong, we offer better value," he'd say, "You're absolutely right to consider price. I would too. Let me ask, beyond price, what else matters to you in furniture? Durability? Style? Warranty?" Suddenly, customers opened up. His sales tripled because he respected their opinions instead of attacking them. Example: your teenager wants to quit piano after 3 years. Bad: "You're wrong, you'll regret it, you're being foolish." Good: "I understand why you feel that way. Piano practice is tough. Help me understand, what's making you want to quit? Let's talk it through." Carnegie quotes Galileo, "You cannot teach a man anything. You can only help him find it within himself." Your action step: replace "you're wrong" with "help me understand your perspective." Watch disagreements transform into conversations. Principle 12. If you're wrong, admit it quickly and emphatically. This might be the most counterintuitive principle in the book. Carnegie tells his own story. He was walking his dog without a leash, and a police officer approached, angry. Carnegie knew he was about to get a lecture and probably a fine. Before the officer could speak, Carnegie said, "Officer, you've caught me red-handed. I'm guilty. This is the second time this month. I have no excuse. I know the law and broke it anyway." The officer's tone completely changed. "Well, I know these dogs need to run. Just keep him on the leash in busy areas, okay?" No ticket. Why? Because Carnegie admitted his fault so completely that the officer had nothing left to say. When we defend ourselves, people attack harder. When we criticize ourselves, they defend us. Example: you missed an important deadline. Bad: "Well, the requirements weren't clear and I was waiting on Jake," and good: "This is completely my fault. I mismanaged my time and I let the team down. Here's my plan to make sure it never happens again, and here's how I'll fix this situation." Your boss was ready to be angry, but you've taken all the ammunition away. Principle 14. Get the other person saying, "Yes, yes," immediately. Carnegie explains that when someone says no, their entire physiology changes. They become defensive. Their mind closes. So the secret is to start with questions they'll agree with. Carnegie tells us about a salesman who had to sell paint to a skeptical customer. Bad approach: "You should buy our paint, it's the best." His approach: "You want paint that lasts, correct?" "Yes." "And you don't want to repaint in 2 years?" "Of course not." "And you want good coverage so you don't need 4 coats?" "Absolutely." "Great, that's exactly what we designed this paint for. Let me show you." By getting small yeses first, the customer was in an agreeable mindset. Modern example: parenting. "Can you clean your room?" "No." "Try this. You want to find your favorite games easily, right?" "Yeah." "And you like having friends over?" "Yes." "And wouldn't it be nice to not get nagged?" "Yes." "So what if we spend 15 minutes organizing your room?" Your action step? In your next negotiation, write down 3 questions they'll say yes to. Start there. Principle 15. Let the other person feel the idea is theirs. Carnegie calls this the crown jewel of influence. People support what they create. They resist what's forced on them. Here's a brilliant story. A father wanted his daughter to eat vegetables. Telling her to eat them didn't work. So he said, "You know what? I need your help planning this week's dinners. You're old enough to help decide. What vegetables should we include? She picked broccoli, carrots, and peppers. And guess what? She ate every bite because they were her choices. In business, Eugene Wesson was losing money because his sketch artists were making too many mistakes. Criticizing them made it worse. So he tried a new approach. He'd look at their work and say, "This is pretty good, but I think we could improve it. What ideas do you have?" The artists would study their own work, find the flaws themselves, and fix them. Quality improved dramatically. An example: you want your team to stay late for a project. Bad. We need to work late this week. Good. We've got a tight deadline. What do you think is the best approach? Should we come in early, stay late, or split it up? I'm open to ideas. When it's their plan, they're committed. Your action step? Instead of telling people what to do, ask questions that lead them to your conclusion. Part 4. Be a leader. How to change people without giving offense. Principle 16. Begin with praise and honest appreciation. Carnegie says criticism, like medicine, goes down much easier with a spoonful of sugar. Here's how he explains it. A barber lathers your face before shaving it. Why? Because it makes the razor glide smoothly and prevents irritation. Praise does the same thing for criticism. Story from the book. McKinley was a master at this. When he had to fire a government official, he didn't just criticize. He said, "You've served this administration with dedication and integrity. Your work on the Trade Commission was exemplary. However, I think your talents might be better suited elsewhere." The official left feeling respected, not destroyed. An example: your employee keeps missing deadlines. Bad. You're always late. This is unacceptable. Good. I really appreciate the quality of your work. Your reports are always thorough. I need to talk with you about the timing, though. What can we do to help you meet deadlines? Your action step? Before any criticism, start with genuine appreciation. Principle 18. Call attention to mistakes indirectly. Carnegie loved this story. Charles Schwab, the steel executive, not the brokerage founder, walked through his mill and saw workers smoking under a "no smoking" sign. He could have yelled, "Can't you?" Principle 18. Give the other person a fine reputation to live up to. Carnegie discovered something remarkable. People will work incredibly hard to live up to the reputation you give them. Story. A factory had a terrible worker. Lazy, careless, always late. The foreman was about to fire him. Instead, he tried Carnegie's approach. He pulled the worker aside and said, "I've been watching you. You have real potential. I think you could become one of our best workers. I'm counting on you." The worker was shocked. No one had ever said that to him. Within a month, he became one of the hardest workers in the factory. Why? Because people will kill themselves to live up to a reputation. Example: your teenager is being irresponsible. Bad. You're so irresponsible, you can't be trusted. Good. You know what? You're becoming more mature. I trust you to make good decisions. Show me I'm right to trust you. Your action step? Tell someone what you admire about them and watch them rise to meet it. So there you have it. We've covered 18 powerful principles from Dale Carnegie's masterpiece. But here's the thing. Knowing these principles isn't enough. Carnegie himself says, knowledge isn't power until it's applied. So let me leave you with 3 action steps. First, choose 3 principles that resonated most with you. Write them down. Focus on mastering those before moving to others. Second, practice one principle every day for 30 days. Real change comes from consistent action, not perfect knowledge. Third, track your results. Notice how people respond differently when you smile more, use their name, and show genuine interest.
Remember, this isn't about manipulation. It's about becoming the kind of person others naturally want to be around and help. As Carnegie says, you can make more friends in 2 months by becoming interested in other people than you can in 2 years by trying to get people interested in you. Think about that. The principles in this book built Rockefeller's empire, got Roosevelt elected president, and transformed millions of ordinary people into influential leaders. They'll work for you too, if you apply them. If you found this valuable, hit that like button, subscribe for more book summaries, and drop a comment telling me which principle you're going to apply first. And hey, if you want to go deeper, grab the full book. It's filled with dozens more stories and examples that will change how you see every interaction. Thanks for watching. Now go out there and win some friends. See you in the next video.